Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Is It Worth It, the series where I share my review and my opinion for different video games that I have experienced. Today's video is about Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, the 12th game of the legendary series that have been growing strong since 2002. The game was developed by SquareEnix and Indie Zero and was released in 2020 for all available consoles during its era. It is the first Kingdom Hearts title that is taking place after the ending of the Xehanort Dark Saga, which was the main plot of the past 11 games. However, Melody of Memory is not a main title, but more or less a love letter for all the fans. The game is not a traditional action RPG, but for the first time it's a rhythm-based game. Kingdom Hearts is a series who's not afraid on experimenting with its IP, as seen in the past. There's a card-based system game for the Game Boy Advance, there's an Android and iOS games that are team-based RPG fights, and many others. In Japan, rhythm games seems to be popping out everywhere with games such as Persona 5, Vocaloid, Hatsune Miku, Final Fantasy, and others, so why not Kingdom Hearts as well? The story of the game is simple since, as I mentioned, this is a side game and a love letter to the series, but let me elaborate on this. The Kingdom Hearts series, as previously mentioned, consists of 12 games and most of them were in different platforms, theirs being on the PS2, PSP, 3DS, Game Boy Advance, PlayStation 4 and Android devices. There have been game collections available later on in the form of Kingdom Hearts All in All and The Story So Far, which consists of all the games and is available in all of the consoles. Other ways of consuming the story was reading the novels, the mangas, or reading the story through the storylogs in any of the games. As a result, this rhythm game tackled this challenge very efficiently. It allows the players to consume the entire Kingdom Hearts story in an enjoyable way. Following the events of Kingdom Hearts 3, everybody has been trying to find where Sora ended up. At the end of the Remind DLC, Riku mentions how they may have found the lead inside of Kairi's heart. And that's where the game basically focuses on. The game dives in all of the worlds that Sora has been during his adventures. As a whole, Kingdom Hearts has plenty of amazing OSTs, and as a result, there were plenty of concert events dedicated for this franchise, which, by the way, had and still have a lot of success. Melody of Memory allows the players to listen to all of these songs while rewarding the players with cutscenes and showcase events of the past games, with Kairi's voice explaining the plot of the given title. You venture to all of the worlds and play the tracks in order to obtain stars to unlock even more maps. Nothing major happens plot-wise since it's just a retelling of the events of the past games, up until the very end. The first thing we get is a glimpse of Kairi's past. However, some more interesting stuff happen that set the stage for the next game to come and take us all to the next chapter of Kingdom Hearts series as Riku moves forward to the unknown. There is more than reach the eye though. It may be a simple rhythm game, but it has plenty of rewards. The entire collection of unlockables indicates how long and beautiful the Kingdom Hearts series has been. The collection gallery consists of posters, promotional art of all the past games, all the Keyblades created thus far, art of all heroes, art of all enemies, and so much more. Personally, I barely have any experience with rhythm-based games. My experience comes from the games such as Patapon for the PSP, iToy Play of the PS2 with the rhythm minigames, and I also barely played Guitar Hero back when it was a big thing. As you can tell, I do not have a lot of experience when it comes down to rhythm-based games. However, it is a Kingdom Hearts game, I'm into trying different things, so why not try this one? Luckily, I had a dear friend who bought the game for me in day one as a gift. The gameplay of Melody of Memory comes in 4 forms and 3 difficulties. Beginner, Normal, and Expert are the 3 difficulties, and the difference is the amount of enemies appearing and the life you lose when missing a note. You control a pre-existing team of 3 heroes. You can choose to add items and start the tracks. Your heroes will always move forward on a pentagram, and there are enemies waiting for you. The enemies are always placed in the position where if you hear the rhythm of the song, you can tell when to press the buttons without even looking at the screen. Speaking of buttons, the normal gameplay has a player press multiple. X, L1 and R1 are buttons that have the heroes attack. Triangle is a quick time event that appears once in a while, and circle is used for jumping. Holding circle allows your player to hover up in the air. These are the buttons the player has to press while in normal mode. Keep in mind that if your main character attacks with X, and there is a follow-up for the other characters to attack, you have to press either L1 or R1 as X has already been used. The second game style is called the one-button press. Basically, the entire gameplay changes for the player to only press one button, most commonly being X. You can choose which button you press from the ones mentioned above. However, if you start pressing X and midway you swap to L1, it doesn't really matter. Commands that use circle or triangle or double press are simply done with that one button of choice. Even in the case of floating, you don't have to maneuver left and right, as this is done automatically. And in the case of having mobs for your party to attack, they will do it as long as you still press the button down. However, if you stop holding the button and choose to attack with a different button, this will result on you being hit. Another type of gameplay has your team floating in the sky while an A and B plays in the background and tasks the player to press the buttons on the time until the controller in the motion being requested. The last playstyle of the game is the style mode. It translates to having the normal difficulty with all the buttons mentioned previously, alongside additional buttons such as L2, R2 and square. During the main story campaign, you are stuck with the normal gameplay, but the difficulty is up to the player. You can control which team you wish, given the fact that you have unlocked them all. However, keep in mind that if you use one team, the experience gain is for that team and that team only. So when you swap teams, the next team will be on level 1. These teams are the classic trio, which is Sora, Donald, Goofy, the Twilight Gang, Roxas, Axel, Shion, the Birth by Sleep team, which is Aqua, Ventus and Terra, and last but not least, Riku with 2 Dream Eaters. They all play the same though, but they use their own animations and unique skills. During a level, you can use items such as potions, mega potions, XP boost, and last but not least, the Mickey summon, which allows you to summon Mickey, who joins your team and earn 1 points when he is the one hitting the enemies. Also, while in story mode, the game has boss battles. Boss battles are the same as the other games. Basically, make sure you won't miss or drop a node. Keep in mind on the graphical surface, when the pentagram has a purple aura, it means that the enemy will attack you, so if you miss a node during that, it will be most likely a fatal blow. Last but certainly not least, there's a possibility that other Disney heroes will join you in the battlefield when you play one of their songs. For example, if you're playing on the Olympics at Colosseum, Hercules will most likely join you. Outside of the main campaign and free song selection, the game has battle mode. Battle mode can be online, against AI, or in local multiplayer. The difference in battle mode is that every time there's a different event that occurs to sabotage the other player or being sabotaged. Sabotage comes in plenty of forms. First one being not being able to see the enemy hitboxes, so you'll solely rely on the rhythm of the song. The second, and similar to the first one, is hiding the upcoming mobs but not their hitboxes. The third one is causing confusion in the form of multiple hitboxes appearing on the same time with different cooldowns. Following this, there is the life swap, where you and the enemy swap lives. Another sabotage is the mob shrink ability, where you transform all the upcoming mobs into tiny dots with tiny hitboxes. The last sabotage is where each time you miss an enemy or miss the time, it takes away from your own points. None of these are important though if you solely rely on the hearing and not the graphical surface, since the rhythm will never change. Overall, this is a great game and definitely something unique for the series. It set the prologue for the upcoming new arc Kingdom Hearts is about to join. It took advantage of all the beautiful songs the series had to offer and from Disney properties. It's not a long game like all the other games, it's around 10 to 15 hours long, but replaying the songs over and over will allow even more. I would recommend the game if you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, and if you're not, it still is a great game full with amazing OSTs and summary of one of the best game series ever. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Tell me in the comments below what your favorite Kingdom Hearts game is, if you like Melody of Memory, and which song is your favorite. For me, the best Kingdom Hearts game is probably between the second one and the third one. I enjoyed my time in Memory of Melody, and my favorite song is between This Is Halloween and the Sephiroth. Till then, take care, and I'll see you all in the next one. See ya!